For those of you who don't know, I'm a part-time PE teacher. When I came back to Illinois, it wasn't in the cards. That wasn't what I had planned on doing. But the school I used to teach at asked me if I was interested in a part-time position, and it kind of fit my schedule in the middle of the day. So I gladly took that position. I like teaching. I like working with kids. I like teaching them about fitness in general. The first time I was at this school, from 2010 to 2012, we completely overhauled the curriculum and emphasized a more fitness-based curriculum because I felt like that's what the kids needed more than just playing games and sports repeatedly. Fast forward to now, the last 2 years, we do at the beginning of the year, we have to create an assessment for them. So most of you have done either the presidential or the FitnessGram assessment. And at our school, we do the presidential assessment because the FitnessGram, we just don't have the equipment, space, or time to conduct that test. So one of the aspects or two of the aspects of the presidential is a sit-up and a push-up test. You can be done a couple different ways, but the one way you do is you give the students a minute and you give them the standards on a proper push-up and a proper sit-up, and they have to perform the movement to the standard, and you let them know if they've consecutively failed 2 reps in a row. You have to stop them and their test is done, and you record their number. We then test at the end of the year, and the hope is that they have improved in that time and their scores show that. But between last year's results and the start of the test this year, I wanted to start reaching out to a couple of my other colleagues that are in the physical education field and kind of compare results. And for those 2 aspects in particular, and what I found was extremely unacceptable. When it came to things like the mile and the shuttle run, students were right on par with the national average. Most of the time they were exceeding those averages. But when it came to things like push-ups and sit-ups, and even the sit and reach, which is where you're testing flexibility, the students were well below average. And I just don't understand in this day and age, with all the things we have available, all the resources that these kids are able to get their hands on for sport development, why these are so. We have kids that are playing sports year round, baseball in particular. There's fall ball, there's winter ball, and if you don't have access to a winter facility, you're either doing hitting, pitching, or some sort of speed and agility lessons until the spring comes when your actual season takes place. Then once your spring season is over, you have summer ball. It's the same for almost all the other sports. You throw in volleyball, lacrosse, hockey, whatever. These kids are playing sports year round. With the increase of these kids playing sports and the competition to make these traveling squads even higher, that creates a demand for sports performance training. So now more than ever, kids have easy access to sports performance facilities. Myself, we run one at our gym. Mike Zella does a fantastic job of running it. But the one thing that I just don't understand, I feel like we need to have a call to arms here from all strength coaches, is we need to do a better job of educating and teaching these kids how to use their bodies. Please do us a favor. Put the agility ladders away. Put the computers away. Put the fancy gadgets and the balance boards and all that stuff. Put it away. Teach the athletes how to properly use their bodies. You're going to do them a lot more good than showing a fancy video like you would see in a Nike ad. These kids aren't Nike athletes. These kids aren't elite athletes yet. They are performing at a higher level than kids ever were at younger ages. Concussions, ACL injuries, Tommy John surgeries are at an all-time high with kids under the age of 18. I don't understand how this has been, seen as an acceptable practice. As strength coaches, these parents entrust their kids to us, and they want us to teach them how to be better athletes, how to move better, how to be more competitive on the field. And I don't feel like we are fully doing that. All we are worried about is the end result, and we're not worried about building a base. We're not worried about laying a foundation down for these kids. Any child that is in the grades of 6th, 7th, or 8th grade should be able to perform a proper sit-up and a proper push-up for multiple reps. And the fact that some of these kids don't understand the basic anatomy. When I tell a child, keep your hips off the floor, they don't understand what that means. They don't understand how to engage their core, how to keep their back tight. Again, I'm in a very fortunate situation because I have a coach at my facility that emphasizes these basics and breaks them down. And the child is not allowed to move on to more advanced stuff until they can master the basics. I know he's not the only one that does this. I'm not that naive. But I feel like as a whole, as a community, as a group, we need to do a better job. We need to get these kids ready to go. So please, Stop watching the ads you see on TV, all the sporting goods commercials and the equipment specialty shows and all that stuff. Pare it back a little bit. You don't need an agility ladder. Teach the kid the basics. Teach them how to properly move. Teach them how to properly squat. Teach them pressure in their feet. Teach them the athletic position. That in and of itself is something that floors me when you ask a kid to go into an athletic position and they don't understand. Those of us who were back in the day that didn't have a ton of sports performance facilities and coaches to work with, we all know what that basic athletic position is. A lot of kids don't understand that. They're so specialized these days that there is no broad, spectrum of abilities and skills that they've mastered before they went to the specialization. Everybody's looking for the next Tom Brady or the next, Landon Donovan, that they get their kid involved in the sport starting at 3, 4, 5 years old, and that is all they do for the rest of their life. By the time these kids get to high school, they're going to be burnt out. They're not going to want to do the sport anymore, and they're going to be injured. We had a kid a couple years ago that came to us, and he was 16 years old. By the time he came to us, there was nothing we could do for his shoulder. He repeatedly played sport year round. He had a pitching coach that he saw 2 times a week. He also played fall ball, spring ball, summer ball. He added access to a winter facility where he played mock games, and he played on his regular high school team. The child was 17 years old, and he was a candidate for Tommy John surgery because he destroyed his elbow, and he is no longer performing in sports. We don't want that. We don't want these kids burning out too soon. They're supposed to be enjoying their youth. They're supposed to be enjoying these club teams, playing with their friends, getting to see different parts of the country that they may not get to see otherwise. They're not professionals yet. Please stop treating them like so until they are at that level. As a strength coach, please do these kids a favor. Do right by the kid, and not to inflate your ego or to increase your membership. Teach them how to move properly, teach them the basics, and let them progress from there. That is all I ask of you. That's all I have to say about that.